So I'm out here with the Noctigon KR1 from the International Outdoor Store. Only got this light recently. Very small and compact. I mean, this is an EDC size torch easily. It's got probably the toughest, most heavy duty pocket clip I've ever seen on any torch. That's really nice. I like the style, I like the size of this. But what really impresses me is, I don't know if you'll see it in there, we've got one of the new Osram LEDs in there. This is I think it was a W2, which isn't the smallest one, but in this size package we're getting 100,000 CD and still 1200 lumens. And let me tell you, this is probably the most impressive torch I've bought in the last 7 or 8 years. It really is a cracking little light. It's not perfect, it's got a few faults. You know, we'll might as well air them now. We've got an electronic switch, which, unless you get the cap screwed down really tight, doesn't seem to work properly. I also don't like the fact that it does feel a little bit mushy, and when I've got it in my pocket, the bloody thing turns on. Oh, it's so irritating. I've never had that problem with sort of traditional clicky switches, but I think because there's less travel in the electronic switch, you know, I've got it clipped in my jeans pocket, and when I get in the car, I don't know if it's my jacket or something, hits the switch and it turns it on. There is a lockout mode, but it's you know, you've got to click it 4 times to activate it and then 4 times to deactivate it. I'm not going to do that every time I want to use a torch. So that is my really only big bugbear with this thing, is that I want to EDC it because it's so good, but the switch is a bit crappy, which is a real shame. Secondly, I don't know, it's got Anduril UI on this, which is used on a lot of budget lights these days. It's not a bad UI, but I do sometimes find I just don't like it. You know, I'd much rather this have got a mechanical switch than something like the BLF A6 driver. For me, that just works so much better. But anyhow, enough gripes. Let's see what this little thing can do. So another nice touch on this, it has got a little tritium vial in the tail cap there. You can just see a little bit of an orange glow. You can optionally buy this for a couple of quid extra when you buy the light, and you get a choice of colours. Right, we'll go straight into turbo, so it's just a double click from off. Now the beam itself isn't massively big, but you know, we've got a pretty good spill beam here. If I come up closer, you know, look at that, it's still lighting up stuff really well. But the throw that you get from this tiny little light is out of this world. I've never seen anything so small throw a beam so far. In fact, having just been out here with, you know, a fairly hot-rodded XPG3 C8, which, you know, has a reflector twice the size, this thing still throws a beam further. The tint's pretty cool, but actually it's really nice. It doesn't really bleach the colours out. It's definitely on the whiter side of cool white, but it's actually a really pleasant beam, and it is perfect. There is not a ring or an artifact in the beam at all. It is a really nice beam, and it's not a pencil beam. I mean, if you can remember the old XRE LEDs, you know, they could throw a beam pretty well, but you'd have a hot spot that was only a quarter of the size of this. Whereas this is actually really usable. Does get a little bit warm on turbo, it's not surprising, but it's quite manageable. But yeah, this is the most impressive light I've bought for a long time. I just wish it had a different switch design. So Hank, if you're watching this video, love your work, but please revisit the switch. I don't want these things turning on in my pocket.